All right, so let's try this one more time. I'm having a couple issues with recording today. This screen is Blender, if you haven't opened it yet, anyways. And this is a finished version of the project that we're going to be working on. It's kid friendly, pretty simple and straightforward as far as Blender is concerned. Yes, the environment looks really complicated, but keep in mind I'm going to be walking you through all the steps and keeping you focused on just what's needed for now. The biggest thing that I would like you to learn from this is just how to use some of the tools and just getting used to software like this and not being scared of it, basically. So hopefully all of you will be comfortable with this by the time you're done, and you'll be able to kind of play around with a few different things and be comfortable. Just to give you a couple of ideas about the environment, the left side, and we'll set our environment up like this later, is the workspace. It's nice and simple, rotates pretty smoothly. Right side is a rendered screen. You can see it gets a little rougher on the edges. That's because the computer is trying to render it every time something moves. And it's going to be a little rough like that. There's nothing wrong with it. It happens unless you have a really, really expensive computer, way more expensive than mine. Um, so a couple things I do want you to notice. I will be having screencast keys on. I'm going to turn it on here so you can see it. This little representation of a mouse showed up at the bottom. I'm rotating by holding middle mouse click to rotate the entire screen. If I hold it down and keep rotating, I can do that. Scrolling in and out, zooms, and clicking on objects selects them. I'll try to keep those things in mind. And I'll show you some more movement tools once we get going. I'm going to hit the play button once so you can kind of see what's going to be happening in this. And you'll notice this side plays a lot smoother than that side because, again, once it moves, it starts to get a little noisy. It's projecting a ball out. Using simple physics and some other settings will make this happen. And you feel free to experiment a little bit once you get to the end of this, too. If you want to add more blocks or kind of build something that looks a little different that the ball is running into, you can feel free to do that and be a little creative with it toward the end, too. Maybe make it look like a person from Minecraft that it's hitting. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I'm going to close this really quick just to get you familiar with a couple other things, and then we'll call it a day on this short video, and then we'll get to the kind of meat of the project and get some things going. So I'm going to close this out, not saving anything because that's my end example. And let me get all this out of my way. Open up Blender 2.8. And I just opened the same file again. I've been doing this way too many times this morning. I apologize. When you open Blender, you're going to encounter this screen. And then basically all you have to do once you encounter this screen is just click on the workspace. And you see that it's there. And again, getting back to the movement tools, I'll actually open up my screencast again. If I can really quick so you can kind of see what's happening. And I'm going to try to hide this. There we go. So you can see the screencast is still down here at the bottom. You can see what's going on there. And as far as getting used to the tools again, I'm going to point out a few things on your environment, and then I'm going to point out some of the tools over here. Here is a lamp. We'll talk about lamps later. These are objects or meshes, and then this is your camera. Those are the three things we'll be talking about for the most part the entire video. Movement tools are over here. The main one we'll be using, and we may use another one toward the end possibly, is the move tool, which gives you more precise movements in a linear fashion using different axes. An axis is basically horizontal and vertical here. And for the most part, if you grab one of these arrows, it'll move on that axis. And those are the main movement tools we're going to be using. You can free move objects too by just grabbing them. That kind of sets things off center a little bit, so I don't suggest doing that as much. But arrows, of course, you'll hear me talking about those quite a bit as we get moving. So again, a quick reminder, make sure to watch the screencast keys. Make sure to focus on the objects that we're selecting at the time that we're selecting them. And one other menu really quick before this video ends is the mode menu. We'll be using this a little bit here and there too. So just going to keep those things in mind. Like I said, this is just a quick overview, and we'll get started here shortly.